The Monetary Policy Committee has cut interest rates by 25 basis points today. So was this on the expected lines, considering the economic data also favored a rate cut?
There was a general expectation in the market that because of the conditions in the economy, the favorable developments in the economy, that there would be a rate cut. And I think RBI and the monetary policy, they have assessed the situation as it obtains and taken a decision according to their assessment.
Mr. Lavasa, transmission of interest rates by the banks has always been a problem. This has been a problem for a long time now. How do you think this can be dealt with, and do you see the banks cutting rates this time?
Generally, the transmission of interest rate cut to the end consumers is decided by the banks in an autonomous fashion. I think they keep in mind what is their own condition, the status of their balance sheet, as well as what is expected in the market by their clients. A combination of the two would influence their decision. This is a decision which is taken by the banks, but certainly whenever there is a rate cut which is announced by the Reserve Bank, the consumers do expect, the customers do expect that this will be transmitted in the products which the banks make available to the clients. So, while it would be an autonomous decision of the banks, I am sure that they will read the sentiment in the market and take an appropriate decision.
After today's rate cut, the repo rate is at its lowest level in 6 years. So, do you think there's a more room for a rate cut, considering the government is also expecting the economy to grow at 8% this fiscal year?
We will have to wait and see how the situation develops from here. The monetary policy exactly has been formed to evaluate the situation, evaluate various conditions in the economy, and accordingly deliberate on what is the appropriate decision on the interest rate at that point in time. So it would be premature for me to prejudge what that decision would be at a future point in time.
And do you see the economy growing at 8% this fiscal year?
Well, certainly the indications are very good. RBI in its policy has also recognized that there will be an expected growth beyond 7.5%. Various agencies in the world, the IMF has called India a bright spot. I think the general feeling the world over is that India provides a lot of opportunities for growth at this point in time. Many decisions which have been taken by the government, they have favored reform, and they are some of the path-breaking decisions as far as economic reforms are concerned. And in the meanwhile, if you look at the spending which the government has undertaken in various infrastructure sectors, whether it is the roads or railways or even social sectors like education and employment generation, government spending has been huge. The planned expenditure in the first 5 months has already achieved 42% of the budgetary estimates for the year, which is an improvement over last year. It's almost 50,000 crores more than what was done at the comparable point in time last year. So I think these are all favorable indications which point towards a higher economic growth.
What inflationary impact will the release of allowances committee have on the economy? Release of allowances of central government employees have on the economy, and do you see this stoking inflation as well in the future?
See, as far as the 7th Pay Commission is concerned, as you are aware, the government has already taken a decision. In fact, the pay according to the new structure and the pension according to the new structure has already been released. So we do see along anticipated lines that there is a boost in consumption. There is generally a growing demand on consumables, household goods, automobile, maybe even housing, etc. So all these demand was expected to be boosted, which it has. Now, on the allowances, there is a committee which is looking into the allowances. So the new rate of allowances has not yet come into being. But any additional money which is circulated in the economy has some kind of effect on inflation. But I don't think this is something which is beyond control or beyond the band which government has in mind for inflation.